Shalom, dear friends. We are very happy to open a new conversation with you and a new reading in the book of Zohar, Zohar Parashat Pinhas, Zohar Pinhas portion. But before we start reading today, I would like to speak broadly about the Zohar. The Zohar is like very, very ancient internet that works according to keywords. Good morning, Rodrigo.
Good morning, Yeti. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How do you do?
I'm fine, thank you. Yesterday I had some audio issues, some audio problems, I don't know, and I cannot speak yesterday, but now I believe that's okay. Thank you.
Yes, it is working. It is working. Very well working. Thank you for asking. Thank you. I just started the broadcast here on YouTube, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. There's a new reading today from the book of Zohar, Zohar Parashat Pinhas. Pinhas portion is in the book of Numbers. But before we shall read the relevant verses, I would like to share with you a bit of conceptual idea. The Zohar, in a way, is a very ancient internet. The Zohar works according to keywords. And this is the same. Good morning, Venus. We are very happy to see you here. And since the Zohar is a very ancient internet, it works according to keywords. And this is the same that we gonna look into today. Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning. Shalom, shalom. Good morning, Fernando. How do you do today?
Shalom, Eti. Shalom, friends.
Shalom, shalom.
Here.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom.
Fine,
How do you...
Eti.
You're most welcome. How do you do this morning, Fernando?
I'm fine, Eti. Around here it's pretty hot, and the air conditioner. I got some problems with my throat, I think, or something. But so my voice is not okay. But soon I think it will be better as soon as start to speak. So, but I am fine, Eti, and I am ready to follow the lesson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Today there is an article, not just article, but one letter or few verses from Zohar Parashat Pinhas. Let's see, let's focus here. I would like us to look into the way the Zohar thinks. So this is the book of Zohar. Zohar with a translation or explanation of the letter Hasulam. Chumash is 1/5. This is the fourth book of Moses, the book of Numbers. In Hebrew, Bamidbar. Portion, Pinchas. Article, Vayehi Hayom, Vayavo Bnei HaElohim. And it was the day, and the sons of God came. This is the name of the article. But before we start reading it, please pay attention even to those who don't read yet Hebrew but can recognize letters. The words which are marked here, Vayehi Hayom, and it was the day. Here we have it few times. The Zohar weave these keywords, those two, around its article. This is how the Zohar thinks. This is hyperlink. This is a very ancient internet. So this is the article we will gonna read today. And the sources that the article is using are those who are appearing on the right side here. So the sources are from Esther chapter 1, verse 1. The second source is 2 Kings chapter 4. And the third source is the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6 and verse 13. So just for warm up, we shall read the sources before we get the whole idea. Just read the sources. Who would like to read the English source, please?
I don't know if Rodrigo has the microphone today.
Rodrigo?
Yes, my microphone, I believe it's open. And
Yes. Would you mind reading for us the verses in English?
I can read it, Eti, I can read it.
Thank you.
Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus who reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 107 provinces.
Thank you. And now source 2, 2 Kings chapter 4. Can you please read?
Yes. 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 8. And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunammite, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was, that as oft as he passed by, he turned in thither and to eat bread.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
Job also.
Yes, please.
Job, chapter 1, verse 6 and verse 13. Now it fell upon a day that the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. In verse 13, and it fell on a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
Thank you so much. When we read the verses in English, we don't see what is the connection, what binds them together. But when we read the Hebrew, we have one repetitive keyword. Fernando, can you please read the Hebrew? Do you see the Hebrew?
Yes. Okay. So from Esther
Yes.
to Caliph. Vayehi binei Ashur verosh. Hu Ashur verosh. Hamoler Mehodu Vead Kush Shva. Vyashrim
Yes.
Umea Medina.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will mark the key word that will appear in the rest of the verses in Hebrew. At the moment, I don't have a whiteboard because I moved my writing board, and as well on YouTube there is no entry. I will now slowly enter. I have to be very cautious with my movements here. The key word is here Vayehi. Vayehi. This keyword will repeat. Now, Fernando, can you read for us 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 8, Pasuk Het? Can you please read?
Yes. Pasuk Het. Vayehi Hayom Vayavor. Elisha al Shonem. Vesham Isha Gadula. Fatachazek bo leechol lachem. Vayechi mitei avchu. Yasur shama leechol lachem.
Excellent, excellent. Again, the key word is Vayehi. And it fell, the English translate, and it fell. Again, it's the same word that the book of Esther is opening. Vayehi, Vayehi. Very good, excellent. Fernando, can you please read the 2 verses from Job, because the keywords the keyword repeat. Yes, please.
Yes. So Job chapter 1, Pasuk Vav. Vayehi Hayom Vayabou Bnei Elohim Vihitai Tsev Al Hashem Vaibo Gam Hasatan Batochem.
Excellent. Let's mark it.
And Pasuk Yud.
Yes, excellent. I'm just marking it for the participant on YouTube. Yes, and Pasuk Yod Gimel, please.
Yod Gimel. Vayehi Hayom Uveneiv Ubnotaiv Ochlim Veshtim in Yain Babait Ahihem Habakur.
Excellent. Excellent. So here again the keywords are excellent. Vayehi Hayom. In English it says, and it fell on the day. Here, those keywords are the source of the article of the Zohar. This is it. Now we are starting it. So the name of the article, and the sons of God came. It came here from Job chapter 1 verse 6. This is Baal Zohar, the one who writes, who speaks the Zohar. He cuts or derive the name of the article from one of the verses. In this case, this is it. Vayavou Bnei Elohim. This is it. From this verse, he cuts or titles his article. Ot Shin Nun Aleph, mark or letter 351. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Yehuda LeRabbi Shimon. Aleph Resh Yod abbreviation. In this case, the Yod is Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda said to Lamed is to Resh Shin Rabbi Shimon. To Rabbi Shimon. I'm just checking. 1 second. יאמר נא אדוני דברים יפים של ראש השנה. Now, Rabbi Yehuda asks Rabbi Shimon to say beautiful things or beautiful words of Rosh Hashanah. The flag here in green says there is a special segment of articles which are relating to Rosh Hashanah. This is why we find here a green flag. So Rabbi Yehuda asks Rabbi Shimon to say beautiful words about Rosh Hashanah. פתח רבי שמעון ואמר. Yes, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but the word Adonai here is to refers to Rabbi Shimon or to the Lord?
This is very good. This is very good because you are coming to a very, very fundamental question. This is Adoni, my master, my master. Until today, in Hebrew, in English, I move between the languages to express something. In English, we say Mr. Mr. for a man, and Miss or Mrs. for a lady. In English, when we turn to someone. In Hebrew, when we turn to Mr. or Mrs., we say Adon. Adon. This is Mr. Adon. Reminds us of Adonai. And Gveret. Gveret is Mrs. from Gevurah in this case. So he means, he turns to Rabbi Shimon as a title of honor. Adoni. Adoni. This is not Adonai. This is not Adonai. How do I know? You can ask me. Very good question. Please continue. Rodrigo, how do we know that in this case he doesn't call him Lord or God? How do we know that he turns to him in a polite way, like Mr. Mr. There's an Aramic source here above. Here. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said, Lima lan mar. Mar, please pay attention. We have the English way to turn to a gentleman, Mr. M. R. Mr. something. And here we have the source, Mar, Aramit. Mar is Mr. Mar, let's say, such and such, Strauss, or whatever. Mar Strauss is Mr. Strauss or Mr. Stern. Here, the English is born from the Aramic. Here we see the source, Mar. Mar Levin. When you see a letter, Lichvod, to the honor of Mar Levin, Mr. Levin, Mar. Until today, Adon or Mar. Mar is the Aramic. Lichvod Mar Levin. Do we understand?
Yes, I believe that I can get it. And I don't know if the Vav in the middle, because there is no Vav in the word Adonai when we say the Lord. I don't know if it's a signal.
This is not Adonai. This is my Mr.
Yes.
My Mr. Meaning like to turn to someone. Yeah, we say yes, because the Vav, it's not, yes. This is to turn in a polite way. Adoni, we say, excuse me, sir, in English. In Hebrew, we say slicha. Slicha is like, how do you say forgiveness? Or in French, how do we say this? And por favor, French, por favor. So, excuse me, sir. Slicha, Adoni. Slicha, Adoni. Por favor, Mr. Adoni is Mr. Okay? With the Vav, with the body.
Great. Thank you very much. I don't want to disturb.
It is very important. It is very important because in the New Testament, we find the Lord, and because in the New Testament there is already a mixture between the Lord, Hashem, Tetragrammaton, and Jesus. There's a fruit salad there. It's very good that you ask because it comes from here. You see. Very good. So, very good, and continue to ask those questions. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said to Rabbi Shimon, he turns to him, Yomar na Adoni, please, my master will say beautiful words or beautiful things of Rosh Hashanah. This is the turning. Patach Rabbi Shimon ve'amar. Opened Rabbi Shimon and said. He opens in a verse. Which verse? We don't know. Vayehi hayom. And it was in the day. This is on the moment, translation on demand. Vayehi hayom. And it was in the day. Please pay attention to the letters Vayehi hayom. Bechol makom shekatuv, in every place which is written Vayehi, we have a flag here. This is quotation from the book of Esther. In this case, Vayehi hu leshon tsa'ar. This is a language of sorrow. Please pay attention to the close, how similar tsa'ar and sorrow. In English, they're very close. Tsa'ar, sorrow. Tsa'ar, sorrow. So Rabbi Shimon says, and opens with the verse, Vayehi hayom, and it was in the day. And then he says, in any place in the Bible that we find the word Vayehi, and it was, it is a language of sorrow. Vayehi bimei, so now he opens a new verse. Vayehi bimei, not just Vayehi hayom, and it was in the day. Vayehi bimei, and it was in the days of Achashverosh, in this case, or Vayehi bimei, and it was in the days that the judge were judging in the book of Ruth, is the similar opening. It is sorrow. Hu tsar. Vadai, sure, of course. Vayehi hayom, and it was at a day or in a day. It is the day that has a sorrow in it. And this is Rosh Hashanah. Yom sheyesh bo din kashe al ha'olam. This is a day that has a rough judgment upon the world. And also, Vayehi hayom, and it was in the day, Vayavor Elisha el Shunem, and it was in the day, or at the time, that Elisha, the prophet, passed on Shunem. Now Rabbi Shimon associate the verse from Kings 2 about Elisha. He says, Vayehi hayom, it was in the day, this day that Elisha entered or crossed or passed a settlement called Shunem, or a place. We shall see if it's a place. What is this place, Shunem? Haya beyom shel Rosh Hashanah. It was in the day of Rosh Hashanah. Uvechol makom, in any place that we see Vayehi hayom, and it was in the day, this is Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. Ulefichach, hence, Vayehi hayom. Now he reads a full verse from the book of Job. Vayehi hayom, it was the day. Vayavo bnei ha'elohim, and the sons of God was, this verse was told or was happening in Rosh Hashanah. This is the beginning of the article. Do we understand?
Well, if I understood well, Baal Hasulam, in fact, Rabbi Shimeon explained to Rabbi Yehuda that when appears Vayehi Hayom, it's a day with sorrow, and it's because that remembers the Rosh Hashanah. In the Rosh Hashanah, the word is judged. There is a din judgment, Haolam, and there is a sorrow in this day. And this is the same day that Elisha passed to Shunem, and the same day that mentions in Job, verse 13, chapter 1, verse 13, when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking, because it's the same Vayehi Hayom, the same Rosh Hashanah, the judgment day or something like that. I don't know if I understood well it, but
Yes.
Sorry.
Let's focus, because here, yes, Fernando is here. So, yes, this is excellent. So we have Rabbi Yehuda is asking Rabbi Shimon to say beautiful. This is also interesting. He asked from him to say beautiful things about Rosh Hashanah. And what does he say? What is the answer in general?
There is a sorrow in this day because it's judgment day. It was I understood that.
But he asked, I deliberately make it harder for all of us, also for myself. But Rabbi Yehuda asked Rabbi Shimon to say beautiful things of Rosh Hashanah. And Rabbi Shimon says, he brings like a chain of phrases that in every place that those verses are mentioned, this is the day of sorrow. Vayehi b'imei, and it was the time in Achashverosh. Vayehi b'imei Shvot HaShoftim, the judges were judging. It doesn't come here, but this is also an example. And Vayehi Hayom is referring to Rosh Hashanah. But Rabbi Yehuda asked to say beautiful things. What is so beautiful about what Rabbi Shimon says?
A new beginning, maybe.
A new beginning. Fernando, Venus, Suzanne?
Yes, I think as well that could be related to a new beginning, because if we think especially about Esther and Job, both passed through sorrow, but in the end everything turns right. So maybe the story reflects this judgment that is harsh, but in the end everything goes fine.
Thank you. There is a distinction here that now I see when I read here this again with you, because Vayehi b'imei Achashverosh, it was in the times of the days of Achashverosh, is Vayehi b'imei, this is the language of sorrow. Vayehi Hayom, when we see in Kings and 2 verses in Job, this is Hayom, the day. The day is Rosh Hashanah, the famous day. This is one day, Ha-Yom, the well-known day. And let's see what is so beautiful about this day. Can I continue, or we have more questions before we continue?
Yes, Venus said that it is all happening the same day, and it makes me think that the day is a illumination, right? And
Yes.
it is not something a day in the year.
Yes. Yes.
I tend to think that reflects a state, maybe a state.
A state. Yes, a state in the mind of judgment. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's correct. Now we shall continue to the next mark or letter, 352. בכל זימנה טרין וכולי. ראש השנה הוא תמיד 2 ימים. Now he just opens. First he say Vayehi Hayom is referred to Rosh Hashanah. Now he opens. What is Rosh Hashanah? Rosh Hashanah הוא תמיד 2 ימים. Rosh Hashanah is always 2 days. מהו הטעם? What is the reason? Tam is both taste and a reason. What is the reason? Who? The reason is שיצחק שהוא קו שמאל. Now he turns for Isaac. He says Isaac is the left line, which is שהוא בחינת Rosh Hashanah, meaning Isaac is located on the left line in the tree of life, which is the aspect of Rosh Hashanah. יהיה כלול מדין ורחמים, meaning why? Because there's like rolling thought here in this explanation. First of all, Rosh Hashanah is 2 days. What is the reason? He says it has to do with Isaac, which is on the left line of the tree of life, which is the aspect of Rosh Hashanah. Then he returns that Rosh Hashanah will be included from Din, judgment, and Rachamim, mercy. Shehem 2 ימים, that they are 2 days. ולא יהיה יצחק אחד, and Isaac will not be one. כי אם היה נמצא אחד, because if Isaac was found one, meaning שלא יהיה כלול מרחמים, that he would not be conceived or included from mercy, היה מחריב העולם. He would destroyed the world. ועל כן כתוב באיוב, this is why it is written in the book of Job, בית פעמים, twice or two times, Vayehi hayom, Vayehi hayom. And it was in the day, and it was in the day. Here we have in the book of Job, please pay attention, Rabbi Shimon noticed this. In the book of Job, in chapter 1, we find the term Vayehi hayom, and it fell on the day, or it was the day, twice, in verse 6 and in verse 13. And Rabbi Shimon says it appears twice because it has to do with Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah is celebrated on 2 days. Why? To include, since Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment, the judgment has to include mercy. So we celebrate Rosh Hashanah as 2 days. The first day of Rosh Hashanah, I don't go now to the details of Rosh Hashanah, but the first day of Rosh Hashanah is the judgment, Din Akashia, rough judgment associated with Leah. And the second day of Rosh Hashanah is Din Arafia, meaning easy judgment associated with Rachel. Questions so far? About Isaac, about Rosh Hashanah, about the tree of life, about the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. Do we connect all of those ideas together?
Trying to connect it.
Let's look into our tree.
Judgment is
Yes, yes, please.
I remember that judgment is related with Geburah and Malchut,
Yes,
right?
yes,
We could think about 2 days in this order.
yes. Very good, very good, very good. Here. This is Gevurah. Oops, there is no good connection today with the board. I see it just makes line like this. Yes, Chesed. Doesn't go today, I guess. This is Chesed, associated with Abraham. Excuse me, I cannot write today. I try to connect again. Isaac is connected with Gevurah. 1 second, there is no connection. 1 second. No, does not go. It helps to draw, but maybe we could imagine a bit if it doesn't work. Abraham is here in grace, in Chesed. Isaac is here with Gevurah. Sorry. Gavor and Gevurah doesn't go. Do you have a connection with the board? Do you see the board?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes? Because I can't. 1 second. Maybe I'll not write and just... Let's see. A second. Yeah. Gevurah. So just to say that Passover, I move now to an opposite holiday just to mark the tree. Passover is in Chesed. Abraham, Gevurah, Yitzchak. This is Rosh Hashanah on the left side. Time is being born. Rosh Hashanah. Now, he says Rosh Hashanah is associated with Isaac, with Gevurah. He said Rosh Hashanah every day of beginning, because Rosh Hashanah, the time is being born. In Rosh Hashanah, when time is being born, also judgment is being born with the time. But in order that the time would not severely suffer from judgment, we need to include the judgment with mercy. This is why we celebrate Rosh Hashanah over 2 days or 48 hours. Do we understand that? Do you have a sound connection? Do we hear each other?
Yes, I think that yes.
Yes. This is why Abraham had to bind Isaac. To bind, once he bound his 2 arms and 2 legs, basically his time is the 4. He's binding the time into the infinite. Because in the infinite there's always mercy. He says something very rough about Isaac, if you notice here. Very, very rough. Not Isaac as a person, but the quality of Gevurah.
That he would destroy the world?
Yes.
If he...
Yes, if we don't bind, so to speak, if we don't celebrate and we don't bind the time to the infinite, yes. Time is just a destruction. It's not about Isaac. Again, it's not about the child called Isaac. It's not about it. It's about the creation. If we don't bind or submit the creation to the Creator or relate the creation to the Creator, people just destroy each other. We see here like wars and tyrants all over history. We have the same picture. When people don't have the sense of the higher of higher, so they come to another, invade to another country, they take the women and children, they enslave the men, and they do whatever they wish, just destruction, because they have a sense of I'm here. Questions or thoughts, and you can say about anything that you like.
And it is interesting that the name Isaac.
Yes.
I shall left. So I shall left. So it is in the future
Yes.
that
Yes.
today
Yes.
judgment, but tomorrow everything will set fine.
Yes.
It's like
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Today it seems horrible, but in the future, we shall laugh, because beyond space and time, it's just to laugh about things. Please pay attention how the seam is working. This is a very I'm thinking about it with you at the moment. I never thought about this before. Rosh Hashanah is associated with Isaac, and Isaac needs to be bind to include judgment and mercy. If we look at the biblical story, the generations of Isaac are two twins, or two children, which are twins. One of them is associated with judgment, and one of them is associated with love and mercy. Which one is associated with judgment, and which one with love and mercy?
I believe it's Esav. Esav is judgment and Jacob is mercy.
That's correct. That's correct. This is why at the beginning we read that Leah is supposed to be given to Esau. Leah is the first day of Rosh Hashanah, but she prayed a lot and she was given finally to Jacob. That's correct. And the second day of Rosh Hashanah is associated with Rachel, with mercy. So the first day of Rosh Hashanah, it is rough, Dina Kashya, Kashya, Kashe, rough, judgment. Why the judgment in rough? Because it's rough because we are cutting a slice. Imagine that we take a salami. We have like a complete, and then we slice something like a bread. We slice, we cut the time from the infinite. To be able to celebrate a new year, we're slicing one slice from the infinite. Let's say the infinite is a freezer. I'm exaggerating, just make it plastic for us. And we liquid, or we're defrosting. Yes, the store time, which is stored in the infinite, it goes through a process. The time needs to be born. It has to liquid itself. It's not frozen, like the Zohar speaks about beyond time and space. It's like ice or frost. And when something has to be born to appear in Olamot Bria, in the creation, it is like melting snow or melting ice. And it is considered to this process when time is being born. Yes, yes, Suzanne, yes. Yes. Yes.
Eti,
Yes.
may I share something?
Yes.
It's a very unorthodox perspective,
Yes.
but when I see these two words, Vayehi, Hayom, if we get the final letters of these two words, the Yud and the Man, we have the word me, right? Which
Yes.
is 15, and
Yes.
Isaac and Binah.
Yes.
And the letters, the other letters, we can do two times Yahoo. Yahoo,
Yes.
me. Yes, I don't know what it means, but it's beautiful to me to read this just two words in this way.
Yes.
Because we can see the me, we can see the Isaac and the Binah, and
Yes.
we can see two times because we are talking 2 days and the Rosh Hashanah. I don't know if it makes sense. I just share at
Mm-hmm.
that came with me two times the word Yahoo, which
Yes.
means the perspective of the spirit, also the Chokhmah Binah with the Vav. I don't know
Yes.
what it means, but just to share what I see.
It's excellent what you're saying. Very good. Let's see. I would like to see how does it appear. 1 second. Let's see. 92. Yes, Vayehi Hayom. This is 92. This is season +1. O Kings, Melech +2. Very good. questions or thoughts?
I was looking and listening to Rodrigo and looking to these words as well, and looking at Vayehi to find the tetragrammaton. We need to divide one yod into two parts.
Yes.
Right. So we have the 4 letters. It is like what happened to Sarai and Abraham. Let's say. I'm just thinking about about this, like what Rodrigo said, is like a creative idea about to divide harsh judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think also about the dynamic between Hesed, Geburah, and Tiferet.
Mm-hmm.
That we saw some classes ago that Tiferet is like a blend from Hesed and Geburah, but in this, let's say this blend, the Hesed is more present than Geburah in Tiferet. It seems that the grace is superior than judgment. It's needed more grace than judgment to make it beauty, to make the beauty.
Yes. Yes. To make it beautiful, we need more grace. That's correct. That's correct. Is it the first time that you're reading the association of Isaac with Rosh Hashanah? It's the first time that you find those ideas connected?
Yes, the first time to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning of a very, very deep idea of thinking of the Zohar about what happens to Elisha in Shunem. And I would like to look with you, when we see the word Shunem here, let's read here. This is not by mistake. There is a settlement next to our place, few kilometers, called Shunem until our times. But let's look into the name Shunem. Here, 2 Kings, chapter 4, verse chet. Vayehi hayom, and it was the day. Vayavor Elisha el Shunem. Shunem is a place, but please look at the letters Shunem. What the sound or the letters reminds you of? Which word in Hebrew sound like what? And how does the name Shunem associated with what we were speaking at the moment? How do we count in Hebrew? Shunammite, very good. You say Shunammite, yes. What is Shunem? I will count to you in Hebrew in masculine, because there's a different counting in masculine and feminine. Please pay attention. Echad, 1. Shnaim, 2. Now please listen. Shunem, 2. Shunem, 2. What is happening here? Again, Shunem, 2. This is only the beginning of the drama. No vav, yes. Shunem, 2. Elisha passed to Shunem. Now the story of the woman of Shunem is not in our reach. There's no text here. There is no text that reminds us the story of the woman from Shunem. Do you remember the text? There is a great woman of Shunem. She noticed Elisha, the prophet or the man of God, and she urged him to eat with them bread. Elisha accepted her invitation, and she also urged her husband. She has respect to the man of God, to Elisha, and she asked her husband to establish a little attic for him above and put a space for the man of God, and she puts in this attic a bed and a chair and a menorah, 4 things. Yes, and a bed, a chair, menorah, and there are 4 things.
Yes.
Yes, and a table, 4 things. It's the 4 letters of the tetra. It's the 4 letters of the tetra. Yes, we don't have the text in front of us. And Elisha, she noticed them when she changed the bed sheets. She notices a very, very clean man, and Elisha feels something. He feels that he would like to give her something in return. And he asked her, "What do you need anything?" And she said, "I'm living among my people," meaning she includes herself with the community. She doesn't ask for anything, but somebody says that they don't have a son, they don't have children. And this is where the drama begins. And it has to do with Shunem and Shnaim and 2 and the birth of the child, and something happened to the child in Rosh Hashanah. Shanim, years, again, Shanim, years are also, looks like Shnaim, 2, time is like 2. This is very, very interesting. Everything sits on this verse. Because the child, we shall see that the child that will be born to the woman from Shunem, he will feel something in its head. When it's Rosh Hashanah, he will pass out or have a severe illness, and Elisha will take care of this child and he will have to bring him to the realm of life. Because he was born to the world of duality, Shunem, Shnaim, to the world of Nukba. Later on, this is just a preparation. It seems to us now at the moment a very hard place to penetrate, so to speak, or space to penetrate, because this is only the forward to a greater study of the story of the woman of Shunem. Because this child, which is being born to the woman of Shunem, Shnaim, duality, is born according to the Zohar, and I just make a little spoiler, is being born to the Nukba that has no connection, so to speak, to Yesod. And when this child will be later in the field in a very hot day, under the sun, this child will cry to his father, "Roshi, Roshi, my head, my head." Twice Rosh, please pay attention. Roshi, Roshi, my head, my head. And he will fall in the field, and the father will bring him home, and they will call the man of God, Elisha, to cure or to bring this child back to life. The question is, why does he say twice Roshi, Roshi, and again my head, my head? This is a testimony that this story is happening in Rosh Hashanah, because we have 2 heads, one head for mercy and the other one for judgment. And in this day the child fell And Elisha came to resurrect him, to bring him from Alma de Nukba, from the disconnected world in space and time, to Alma de Dhura, to the world of the male, which is connected to the infinite. And this child will be named Chavakuk. Chavakuk, the child of the woman of Shunem, will be the prophet Chavakuk, and the Zohar explains why Chavakuk, because he got two kinds of hugs. Chavakuk, the Zohar says, Chavakuk is chibuk and chibuk. He got two kinds of hugs. Chavakuk, train chibukin, two kinds of hugs. And with those hugs, Elisha managed to bring him to the world of the living. And this is only, please remember, might be tough for us today to try to get closer to the story. It's a beautiful story that the Zohar deals with it to the very, very depth. And I hope that from time to time we can access those secrets together.
Yes, it is beautiful. I can remember that the book of Zohar speaks that the Shunammite woman felt the perfume of Elisha, right?
Yes.
That after he went to sleep, after he wake up, it steals a good smell in the air.
Yes,
that
yes,
passes. So
yes. This
was
is
the reason that she founded it.
yes, yes, true. She did not find after him any marks of time or flesh, so to speak. So she was impressed from him. Does this story reminds you a similar story?
I'm thinking
Who was the teacher of Elisha? Eliyahu. And who Eliyahu resurrected as a child?
A son that will
The son,
and
yes?
and it became the Yonah.
Yonah, very good, very good. So the child that Eliyahu resurrected came to be Jonah the prophet, And now the child that Elisha, his student, will revive, will be Chavakuk. The Zohar says Chavakuk is named because he got two hugs. Chibuk in Hebrew is a hug. Chavakuk, train chibukim, two hugs. And please remember that Eliyahu asked Elisha, what shall I do for you before I'm taken? And you remember what Elisha asked?
yes.
What did he
Double
ask?
spirit, right?
Double spirit. How do we have a proof that he got double spirit? What is the proof here? Look at the whiteboard, there's a proof. What is the proof that Elisha got double spirit? What is the name of the child that he revived?
Double her, Habakkuk.
Chavakuk. And Chavakuk, the Zohar says, is named upon what? How many hugs?
2.
2. So he got double spirit from Eliyahu. This is the proof. Please see, Chavakuk, train chibukim, two kinds of hug. The child says twice, Roshi, Roshi, my head, and Vayavor Elisha el Shunem. Shunem is 2. So he is in the right place because he got double spirit. And Shunem is 2. Shnaim, double.
Just one thing at that. I have questions. I know that we passed our time it here, but after when you could open what is the Bnei Elohim as well,
Yes.
the sons of God, because I don't know what does it mean. And I was looking also that Isha Gedula in this story of Elisha,
Mm-hmm.
the name Isha Gedula is 354,
Mm-hmm.
354. She is a perfect vessel, Isha Gedula is
Mm-hmm.
like 345 or 3 is the 3, the 5 and the 4, like the Pythagoras triangle or Moshe.
Let's write it. Isha Gedola.
Yes.
Isha Gedola with Vav. Yes. Let's write it. Isha Gedola is how much does it come out as?
354, 354.
Yes. Very good. This is interesting because with the 1, very good, is 355 or lunar year, or 354 as you say, or 345 as Pythagoras triangle. Oh.
Because it is interesting, because to recognize something you need the vessel, right?
Yes.
It is like music, or acting, or the arts, when somebody has the taste, the one have the capability to recognize who is the great artist and why this music is playing so beautifully, and the one notice because he have the vessel. If one doesn't have the vessel, he doesn't notice.
Yes. This is it.
Right.
This is it. There are a few articles, Fernando, about your questions, Bnei Elohim, the sons of God. And there's a lot to say about it, a lot to say. Who are the sons of God? And there's also writing here from Suzanne, a second. Just to share, yesterday I looked, I don't have the, do you have a screen of YouTube? It's just I don't have electricity at the moment. Do you have an access? Pina? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. I see. So, Fernando, your question about Bnei Elohim, this is a valid question that we shall answer in the next sessions. Who are the sons of God? Yes. And what questions do you have? I mean, Rodrigo, Venus, and Suzanne, what other questions would you like to answer? Or try to open? This is just a painting by, not just, but this is a painting from William Blake, Job and his daughters. Job. Let's look in the name of Job in Hebrew. Fernando, maybe it will resonate with what we have started yesterday. Eov. What is the value of Eov?
90.
Like?
90, right?
Yes, 90. Yes. Eov is like Eve in this case.
Yeah.
So this is time. Questions? Yes.
I like it. It just came to me that I read on Discord yesterday what Kevin posted about Fine Rap, that the divine justice that we are talking about judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Divine justice is not equal to what we think about justice, right? And I was thinking now about Job, because he was looking at his standards of justice. You know, I am a tzaddik, I am
Yes.
a man of justice and everything. So what this is happening to me, but it's not the standard that Job was looking for. You know, till he understand that the standard was another, he suffers a lot. So, yeah, so just came to me this, because what was a beautiful quote from Vine Rap on Discord.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Venus, thank you so much. 3 daughters and 7 sons. 3 daughters. 3 daughters are against Gal, or the 3 upper spheres, and 7 sons are against Zat the Binah, the 7 lower spheres. This is the structure of the story. Everything is embedded in the spheres. So 3 daughters are against or parallel to Keter, Chochmah and Binah, and the 7 sons are parallel to the 7 days of the week, or the 7 lower spheres. Yes, this is the structure. Thank you so much for your participation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Edith. Thank you, friends. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Shalom,
Thank
shalom.
you, everyone. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Thank you
All
so
the
much.
best.
Thank you.
Shalom, shalom.